Welcome to The Real Deal with Sean Matthews, where we have real conversations with real people, entrepreneurs, and business owners alike. Today, I have a beautiful friend of mine and mentor. She's also a business owner and coach, and her name is Jane Rushton. Jane, I've known for about, almost 2 years now, and she's been in business for over 26 years with all sorts of different businesses. And she started this business in particular because she was overcoming her tragedy when in her 20s and living a roller coaster ride of life with her husband and 4 children. She found there was another way to live, but changing her mindset and attitude. She loves other people's lives changed and to be so much happier. She is also has been one of my coaches in business and absolutely adore her. Anyway, I'm going to get started. Welcome, Jane. I'm so glad that you're on the podcast today.
Thank you very much for having me, Sean. It's wonderful.
Thank you. Yes, I loved when you booked in. I think that we did a podcast together. I think it was maybe my second or third episode, I think we did. And you interviewed me. So that was actually quite interesting. So now the roles are reversed.
Exactly. Nice to be on the other side.
Yes. Now I see in your background you have your path. Can you tell us your path, how you got started in this business, what you do, and how you help men and women?
Sure. So how I got started in this business was basically many moons ago. I went from tragedy to transformation, and it changed my life. And I remember asking the hospital people, the doctors and that, how can I get rid of the pain? And they said to me, there's nothing they could do anymore. That was it. You're either on drugs or higher drugs. And the body doesn't cope with being on drugs all the time. And it wasn't something I wanted to do. So I remember ringing my sister in America and going, what do I do? There's nothing more they can do for me. And she said, well, you've got to heal yourself. And I went, how do I do that? I said, don't tell me it's this woohooey stuff. Thinking back then that even mindset stuff, not even the spiritual stuff, the mindset stuff was woohooey. And so I ended up, she said, well, that's the only way she knew how. So she was a physio, she was a healer, she was did cranial sacral work, she did psychology work, she did so many different things. So I thought about it and realized that actually there was no other option. So I started this journey way back then. So when I was 27, I started, and it was just a learning curve. And I remember going to learn some stress release techniques and rolling down the spine. And I remember being on this weekend going, this is just really wacky stuff. I don't know if I'm going to do this stuff. But after the first day, I felt so good that I went back for a second day, and which I find is what people do on my trainings or with my sessions as well. Sometimes they go, wow, this feels really good, but am I ready for the change? And I think that was what I felt. Am I really ready for the change? Will I do anything to change my current situation? So my mindset, I was just so stuck. So that's how I actually got into it all those years ago. And I help people in many, many different ways. Your Path is one of the programs that I run, and then that leads on to other programs, Create the Life You Want, Become the Best You, and then all my NLP trainings that I do as well. So people, when they come and see me, they come and they walk away transformed. Their life becomes clearer. They become more focused. They remove negative emotions. It's wonderful to work in an industry with a passion where after I see each person or I do a program that I just go, yes, I'm in the right place. I can help you.
Definitely. And I love that. And you do inspire me. I think I did say when I first met you and I heard your story that you were one of the most inspirational people and mentors that I've ever met. And we've been on the journey together in business and in life as well. And it's fantastic what you do. you've obviously helped me in some areas of my business, which I'm very grateful for, and
Wonderful.
helped me with the growth. So what you do definitely works, and how
Yeah.
you do it works as well. Now that's really a testimonial, isn't it?
It is. And
And
thank you very much.
yeah, that's
And again, I want to acknowledge your work too, because it's amazing work too. And we just need more of us on the planet. There's just so many of you out there that are possibly looking, that are actually maybe even coaches as well, or at the really stuck stage in life and want some help. And everyone resonates with different people. So we just need lots of us's out there.
Yeah.
And coaches have coaches that have coaches. I coach trainers as well. I coach business people as well that really want to take their business to the next level, or they're actually stuck. So many different things, like in finances, people have their values and get stuck in different stages of their life, whether it's bringing up children, or it's the finances, or the relationship. Is it your health? Like for me, it was initially my health. I thought I had a perfect life, and it was just my health that I was going to, get rid of the pain to be able to move forward after the tragedy. But it was so much more than that. And I think you'll find as well. But when I see clients, they get so much more out of it. I remember one client saying, I'm going to be born again. And she is 60, in her 60s, and she'd done a lifetime of work because of her upbringing was just so turbulent. And she's like born again. She goes, I just feel so different now. So it's exciting work.
It is. It's exciting work. It's beautiful that we can do that and help other people succeed when we know how it was when our health was deteriorating in different ways. And we all have our own story. And I absolutely love your story. How did you go from health and then start being successful? And I know you talk a lot about abundance and how to attract abundance and living a happier life through that. Can you explain a little bit about how you did it and how you help others do that?
Yes, definitely. So our mindset is based on our values and our beliefs, our behaviors and our habits, the way we talk, the way they act, is all on our values, which is based on our upbringing. And our upbringing has got a lot of positive things in some people's upbringings, and also some turbulent things. Now, I would like to say here that I had the most amazing upbringing and really, really positive parents, so much so that my mother was so positive, I got sick of her saying, just think of the positive side. When someone was, maybe not so nice at school, and she'd go, oh, well, think what they might be going through at this time. And I remember at the time saying, don't say that. I didn't want to always hear positive things. And I actually hear my daughter saying that sometimes too, which makes me smile. But she had a really positive attitude. However, when I really got into business and started working through my things with my health and my mindset, I actually realized that my attitude to money, my attitude to business was work hard to make money. You just had to always slog away at it. And I always had a belief that I never had enough. And enough what? Enough money. It was always the thought of it. So then I worked and worked and worked hard to get enough money, and worn out, burned out so many times. It's just like I created and learned a strategy to actually create abundance and flow in your life without working hard, and to getting that balance. So it's not saying that sometimes you're not going to be working hard. Sometimes you will be, but it's pulling yourself in to get that balance. So through the NLP, timeline therapy, mindset, and I do a lot of holistic work. So all my work is holistic as well. So I've ended up going down the woohoo part with the spiritual journey. So I do a lot of intuitive work with people as well. But the most important thing I find, Sean, is getting the clarity of how much is enough and how much you want to live your life, a beautiful, balanced life, and in business. So future pacing, once you get that clarity, then it's about thinking of the end event. So what does it look like to you when you have enough money to do what you want to do? What does it look like to you when you have lots of wonderful clients just coming in, referral clients all the time, no matter what business you're in? What does that look like? What's the end result look like? Can you create a picture? Do you know what it will feel like? Going to that point and then working out, do you feel you can have that now? Or is there something holding you back in that? Because some people will see that last point and go, oh my God, it scares me. It's just going to be so much work. And I don't know if I've got the confidence or the drive or enough money. So it's about bringing in a whole lot of different techniques to help people get that clarity of going, I can do it and you can do it. It's just having the techniques and removing old limited beliefs. And just remember, coaches have coaches. So I have coaches for me too. So no matter where you are in business people should always have coaches, and their coaches should always have coaches. So that is how you become a master at whatever you do. So I help people to become a master in their area, and then I have helped people that to become master in my area, and I'll be doing that for the rest of my life.
It's fantastic. It's amazing work, as we both know. It's a work in progress. We're always a work in progress, and we always need to have coaches. Coaches need coaches. Counselors need counselors, so forth and so forth, just to keep going. And I love the point when you said with the abundance, and how did you actually do that though with the abundance? You just told yourself that you wanted more money. You said something about future pacing and just looking at in the future and what you want the outcome to be at the end. But what does that look like? Because it might look like that might look different to a lot of other people listening and viewing.
Yeah, good question. So it's about finding out how someone feels about money initially. So how do you feel about money? What's your experience with money? And then by finding that out, I will find out where they need to remove a limited belief, or whether they don't have confidence. And because abundance isn't just money, of course, it's health, wealth, and happiness and all around. But talking in money, there will be a belief that'll be stuck there, and it will be a value. So, for example, I have some people that just have an attitude with money. So the attitude is, I have to work really, really hard. And when I get something done, I never have enough money. So they're always saying never got enough money, even though there's money in the bank. But I'm going to get the best deal out there. And I'm always going to push for the best bargain. And I'm going to make sure I get that best bargain no matter where I go. And they'll find it's going to be hard. It's like pushing through wood, through a tree trunk. I'm going to push really hard. I'm going to get the best deal. And things happen. And it's really slow going. It's like axing away. I'm going to get there. And they're working really, really hard. So basically, it's about finding out where your attitude is, what is your belief. So that attitude. So I help people change their attitudes and say, well, just imagine if you actually felt like you didn't have to work hard, because thinking you're working hard just makes you feel tired. It drains your energy straight away. So just when you're working, are you in your passion? Do you need to find your passion? And how much money do you want to create in your life? We've worked out the money beliefs, and now we've got to work, well, how much is enough for you? What is enough for you? What lifestyle do you want to live? So then we go through the lifestyle and what's enough, because otherwise you're not working hard now and money's coming, but you keep going and you burn out anyway, because you haven't actually put, this is, and you have, I remember when I did a lot of my training, so I've trained in many modalities, but I always remember someone saying, think big, it's, how much do you want? $1 million, you want this and that. And I remember working so hard. I've always said I'd never had enough money. And I remember my brother saying to me, Jane, we've always had money. And I'm going, what do you mean we've always had money? He said, well, remember when we grew up, we worked in our dad's store, and we would pack boxes when we were about 10, and he would just give us 70 cents or 50 cents, and we would have that money. And then as we got older, he paid us a little bit more, and then we would put money in the bank, and Mum would say, put money at 14. She said she created a house account. We put money in the house account. We weren't allowed to touch it. So they are one way that money growing on trees is having a whole set of account branches to create your abundance. But I had this limited belief of money that I never had enough. And yet Mum, as soon as we earned money from Dad, she set accounts up very young, and we were allowed to spend some, e.g. waste it on anything we wanted. And I remember buying so many stickers. And
stickers.
Then some was stickers, yeah. And then I went on to stamps, and actually I have a massive stamp collection, which I don't even know what's worth these days. It's probably money sitting there. But then I did, and she said, well, spend some money, save some money in a bank account. And then when we were 14, she set up a house account, which we went like, it's called a Homeownership account back in those days. And you couldn't never take the money out of it. It was basically for a homeowner. For when you wanted to buy it one day. And we would put like, I don't know, $10, I think we started off doing it. And this is what I teach people. Money grows on trees. They have branches. Have lots of bank accounts and, set up one with, one's your savings, one's your spending, one's your car account, one's your house account, one's might be your personal development account, so you can create more success.
What's on your brain?
There could be an account for that, but I haven't, maybe, no. But a holiday account, another really big one. So I have lots of accounts and I have money going everywhere. And yes, I've always had money, but I've always had the belief that I've never had enough money. I would say I don't have enough. I can't afford that. I haven't got enough money when there was money in the bank account because I've always been a saver. It doesn't matter how much, but it's your choices you choose to do with your money. So it's the attitude and the choices. And when I changed that, it was just amazing. It was like a sigh of relief, and the energy of just having to feel like it was always a struggle. I don't have enough money. I've got to get the cheapest. So I'm going to really wind them down to get the cheapest deal, or go and buy something secondhand all the time. And then go, when you're there, bargain them right to the end. So you get even cheaper than that when you already know it's a really good deal. That just cuts the energy off. So energy, money is energy, and it's flow energy. So it just flows in and it flows out and it flows in. And when you have the right attitude and the right beliefs, the more will flow in for you, but there'll be plenty enough to go out and to buy a home and run your car and to live the life you want. And then eventually my passion is to get people and myself, if it resonates with them, is to be able to then have enough money to give back to the universe as well. My goal is to empower the planet to be a better place, to allow everyone to be happier. And there's enough abundance in the world for everyone to have money.
Yeah, I love that. That's a big goal there, Jane, with putting the money out into the universe. What do you actually mean by that? As in giving back to communities, or
so I've got a charity
charities?
in Fiji. Yeah. So I've got a charity in Fiji, and then if you know how they ring you on the phone for the fire brigade or cancer and things like that, I have a portion that every year that I just put out to random charities as well, even though I've got my own. So just giving back in that way. And just another thing is about people forget that their time is free and they feel like they're time poor. Start to play with time. It's a new concept, playing with time, but play with time. And remember, giving back can just be your own personal time. It could be going to a neighbour that's having a rough time and just baking them a cake. It doesn't always have to be to do with money.
Exactly. And I love that.
Having a call.
Oh, yeah. Just spending time with someone is giving back, which is beautiful. You can just do that and people will feel appreciated and loved. And I think that's another thing that people might have some difficulties with at the moment and in our changing world, that people feel a little bit alone, that we can't collaborate and you can't reach out to people for help. And I want everyone to know, especially in this podcast, is that you can reach out for help, because there's so many people like myself and Jane that are there to help you, because we have people to help us and we back each other up too. So you always need that support, which is absolutely wonderful. Yeah. I love that. Jane, I would love to ask you a few more questions. So I forgot to mention to everybody that you're actually originally from New Zealand, but you live in Australia now and you've lived here for a while.
13
How many?
Yeah.
13 years.
13 years.
That's right, 13 years. Couldn't remember the number, 13 years. And you've had a lot of transitions in your life and a lot of healing behind the transitions. The number one thing that I'm curious about, and I'm thinking a lot of listeners and a lot of clients maybe that are listening, how do you find the balance of life altogether? How is it constant up and down balance, or do you have a balance in your life now that you've healed most of what you've healed in the past of your just going on your tragedy? And the tragedy is the car accident, of course.
Good question. The balance that I create. So the tragedy that happened in my life is just one thing, but life's a roller coaster anyway. And I say to people, the world's our stage, life's an act. It's what you choose to play, how you play it out, how you think and how you act is who you become. So with the balance, I had that, and that's never ended. There's been consistent surgeries and consistent issues with that all the way along. But it's my attitude of how I play it out, how I act on my stage with it. But still, raising 4 children, we fostered children, relationships, everything has its up and down, normal life as well. Businesses can still, especially with the times at the moment, can just be like one of my businesses. I've got a few businesses just stopped dead. It was finished, for now, COVID closed. But could I turn it around to get out of that dip, to go, what can I see? Can I see some bright side out of it? And at times, honestly, for myself too, it's hard to see that bright side, but there's help out there. So I have 5 key steps. So I wrote a book called Mind Tricks. And in that book, that I share with you my 5 key steps of how I get out of my dips in life. And to this day, all these years later, I still use it. Actually, I have it right here right now, because I use it every day. This is the Mind Tricks journal. It's a 30-day transformational journal. Here we go. We'll show it a bit better there.
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah. I was about to get mine, actually, Jane. The one that you gave to me in our session. So that's fantastic.
Yeah, and I literally live by that still to this day. And the 5 key steps is, the journaling, which some people struggle with journaling, but we teach you the purpose of it and how it's scientifically proven that it helps. And I show people different techniques in the journal to help them. So we all learn differently and we do different things, and you can collaborate with some techniques that you already use and with this journal. But releasing the nervous system is one of them. Doing exercise, but not from the point of view of to get fit and look amazing. The exercise part is to get the blood circulating, get the mind clearer, and just to feel good. I teach a chill pill, and that's about the rolling of the spine, release the nervous system. I mentioned that. Ho'oponopono, which is clearing the mind with your mindset. Setting up tasks, A and B tasks. So it's everything in a day is achievable, and then pretend it's happened. So an accountability. That accountability and manifestation has been a massive game changer. So you talked about finance and abundance, and I add on their business or health or relationships. If I'm accountable to any of those things and I manifest what I want and pretend I've got it, and I've got my vision board, it's amazing. That's how I've created my success. And I have been very successful in life. But that's it. I do my Mind Tricks 5 key steps. Do I do it every week? It's a bit like the gym. I do it 3 or 4 times a week. Sometimes I might have a week or 2 off. If I have over a week off, if I'm going into my second week, I notice my clarity's not there. My focus isn't there, and I go into overwhelm and I get really exhausted and go, oh my gosh, why am I doing so many things? I'm not practicing what I preach. I literally get the journal out again and away I go. It just clears straight away. So that's what I do.
Yeah, that's amazing. So much value just there. Just right there that you just said. It's absolutely amazing. And the fact that...
Sorry, Sean.
Yeah,
let me add that they can, Jane Rushton Live, you can go on, they get their free videos of those 5 key steps. So they're free for everyone.
Oh, perfect. Okay. Actually, below is going to be your website, so people can contact you through that way as well, which is great. So we'll put everything in the show notes so people can contact you. But I love the fact that with the balance and what you've said throughout this whole thing, that sometimes people, and you and me as well, I mean, as we all know, that you can do business and go hard, but then there's a time where you don't do much at all. And then you have to rebuild and do it again, which is exactly what you said, which is a roller coaster ride of life. And that's how life really is. Some people think it's just going to be, I'm going to go be successful straight away. Here's a straight line. Here's success. but we don't get successful overnight. I think a lot of people think that you get successful overnight, but it's not the truth, is it? I mean, how you've built your life is been just absolutely incredible. 26 years, you said, starting from the tragedy and the businesses that you've developed, and growing a family. And wow, I mean, again, you're an inspiration, because having foster kids, a husband, love you, Nick, by the way. But yeah, it has a lot to do, and then plus the business. So I think a lot of even women in particular can probably relate to you in this respect, is owning a business and then having a family on top of that. What would you say to those women out there?
Well, I must admit, I would say one step at a time, and just evaluate your values in life. So I want to say that when I was in business, so I started in business so I've done little businesses even when I was a teenager. When I was 14, I started my first businesses. I designed ski gear and made lumber rolls for physios. But when I was 24, I started a fashion shop, and I did designing easy and off clothing for the elderly. Now, I ran that for quite a few years. And then when I went to have my fourth child, I actually made a decision that I wanted to have to sell it and have time off, because children and time with them was more important to me than money.
Mm-hmm.
And that was just my value that I had then, because when you have children, you have one chance at that.
Mm.
You have them, you got them for life, but you have one chance at it. And each stepping stone, you've got to weigh up what's more important to you. Can you get that juggle that you have a child and you can work something, but be realistic. So I teach people how to be realistic, juggling your family life and your business life. If you want to go way up the top but what's enough for you? And you're trying to have children, and you're saying your husband's not doing enough, he should do more, he should value my business more, this and that. It's like, wait a minute, maybe we need to come back and regroup within you first of what's realistic and what's important to you. And if your partner's values aren't the same as your values, you're going to hit turbulence. It's going to be a very rocky ride. So evaluate very clearly, if you're having children and you're running a business, how much is enough in the business to balance how much time you want with your child. Your business is going to be there forever. Your child's going to grow up. And there's times when your children get older, they need you slightly less, and there's times when they need you slightly more. And one thing, I've done a lot of positive parenting work, so I help people with children as well, is that teenagers is one of the times where they need you a lot. I hear a lot of people saying, I leave them, they're fine, they're old enough to look after themselves, whereas deep down they're feeling that's one of the most insecure times of their lives. It's when they're teenagers and they're starting to leave school and they don't know what they want to do, and there's the pressure at the school that they need to know, they should know what they want to study yet, and they don't need to know that. How many of us knew when we left school what we wanted to do? Do they have to go to university? No, they don't. It will help them if they did a basic degree to get a job future in life, but take the pressure off them and let them just try something else, but just support them along the way. If you just accept that, you go, oh, well, they're no good at school, that, they're not going to be good at that, or they don't like this, or they don't like that. It's actually just letting them dangle. They're dangling like that. It's about listening and watching them and knowing when you can pop in to give that little bit of advice. And even when they don't want to hear it, you give it anyway. It's free. They get it for free. So it is about giving advice to them when they don't want to do it. And I have really encouraged my children. I know I'm going sort of more into children, but I'm part of Rotary as well. And it's all about giving back and giving time back to the community. There's some beautiful, amazing youth camps, Wrights, Ryla and Ripen. And my kids, I have more than encouraged them. I made them go. And it was the best thing. And I asked, my youngest is 18, and there's the last one for him coming up, and he was saying, I don't want to go. And I asked my older child, what will I do to get him there? Because you guys have all got a big benefit out of it. And she said, I'll just tell him you've registered. So I hope he doesn't watch this. Tell him you've registered him, so then he'll go. So literally I just registered him and say, you're registered, you're going. And he just went, oh, okay then. And he literally was fine. He says, oh, when I go,
Yeah.
and he just, once he knew it was happening, there was a little bit of this, and then it was just like, oh, well. And I said to them, all my children, the four of them, is there anything I've made you do? Because I always believed you don't make kids do anything they don't want to. But and one of the parenting says you need to strongly encourage them at times when you know this is going to be a game changer. And I said, what's something I've really strongly encouraged you to do, if not made you do, that you didn't want to do, that you've never got a benefit from? And they all said there was nothing. Everything you really pushed us to do, they'd all got a benefit from, and they're really thankful for it. And this is a tough stage in life, when these kids are so unbalanced and in those teenage years. So yeah, it's balanced children, balanced business, money. How much is enough? Is money going to buy you the happiness and the love for the children and the balance with your husband as well, and your partner?
Yeah. So it is. It's a bit of a jungle. Yeah, I was just going to say, it's just a bit of a juggling act, isn't it?
But it's all in the mind. It's a juggling act in the mind. And when you align, and that's why, like, I coach a lot of parents and business people monthly once they've done the programs that I do. The VIP transformational one is the most popular, and that's life-changing. And after that, monthly ones, because they come in and they've just got stuck and they haven't journaled probably a bit there, and something's happened in the business, and it's like, and then we go and we unravel it all and they leave, and it's just like, wow, the flow of the money comes, the flow of the business, the owners or workers. It's a beautiful dance that I watch.
Fantastic. I love that.
Life's an act, the world's a stage.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, we're going to time to wrap up. You've given us so much value on this podcast, so much value, and we are going to put all your details in the show notes and your website and everything. And if there is something you'd like to give away, can you just maybe send that to me, and then I can put that in the show notes as well?
Oh, definitely. I am going to give 5 free journals. So the first 5 people that come in, they'll get a free Mind Tricks journal.
Oh, fantastic. Okay, well, that's great. I will put that on then for you. 5, just 5
journals, 5 key steps.
That's it. Good one. So out of all of everything that we've said, we've talked about money, we've talked about mindset, we've talked about limiting beliefs around that, and balancing, and children as well. What is one thing, if somebody could take something away from this podcast, what would it be?
Your mindset is your life. Change your mindset, change your life. Yeah, one step at a time. But that's all you have to do is get on the phone, connect with a coach, and your life will just start changing.
Beautiful. I'll leave it at there, Jane. Pleasure to be on this call again with you. And thank you for your time, and your path is waiting for you, everyone. This is the Real Deal with Sean Matthews, where we have real conversations with real people alike. Thank you, Jane.
Thank you very much, Sean. See you later.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.